In this video, we're going to be starting our page 2 of the Oh My Mini newsletter. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to page 2. So you can either do this with the Pages panel and double clicking page 2, which should look like your Beemaster, or again you can change it down here with this menu as well. So the first thing we're going to do with page 2 is we're just going to get the bare bones down. So I'm going to create a rectangle frame tool first. It is going to start with column 1 and end in column 2. Again, about size and placement. We're going to get all that done here in a second. We just want to get these bare bones down first. Next, we're going to grab our type tool. We're going to create a headline box. So I'm going to create one similar to the box we just created. And now we're going to create a box in column 1, a box in column 2, and then we're going to create 3 type boxes in column 3. So do a small one up at the top near your rectangle frame box. Do one near the headline box. And then you can do one that is underneath that kind of fills up the rest of it. So really quick, I'm just going to adjust this box first because it didn't quite line up. There we go. All right. So you should have something that looks like this: a rectangle frame tool box, a headline box, a column 1, column 2, and then 3 type boxes in column 3. So you have your first one, second one, and third one. So the first thing we're going to do is with our rectangle frame, we're going to resize this a little bit. We want this to be a height of 17 picas. So I'm going to grab that height after selecting my rectangle frame, and I'm going to type in 17p and hit enter. Now don't worry if it overlapped that other one. We're going to quickly I'm going to select that headline box, hold shift, and select the other 2 type boxes, and I'm just going to move them down so they're not in our way. I'm going to click and drag too. There we go. And again, don't worry about how they look. You just want to kind of out of your way for right now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure the space between our 12-point line and our rectangle frame is 3 picas. So by now you should know, you grab your line tool, hold shift, click and drag. We're going to change that from 12 picas or 12 points to 2 points. We're going to make this line 3 picas, hit enter, and we might want to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to grab my selection tool, click and drag this so it lines up with that top margin. And now I'm going to click on my rectangle frame tool, and I'm just going to use my arrow keys to move it down until it is 3 picas from the top. So I'm going to select that little line again, and I'm going to go ahead and move it to below our rectangle frame tool so it lines up with the bottom. We're going to change it from 3 picas to 2 picas, and I'm going to hit enter. So now we're going to change and move our headline box to the bottom of that 2 pica line. And there we go. So now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and delete this little line. And now we can make sure that our type box for our first column is the correct size. So I'm going to click on that. And we want this type box to be 28p6. So you see I have that type box selected. Just like with a rectangle frame tool, I'm going to come over here to the height, and I'm going to type in 28p6 and hit enter. Now it extended it down, So we're going to just go ahead and move this up a little bit. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that column 2's type box is the same size. So I'm going to just click and drag it up. You see that green line popped up, and it also, if you look at the height in that little ghosted gray box, it says 28p6, and they are aligned. So what we're going to do now that we have some things set up, we're going to move over to our third column. We're going to go ahead and just align the bottom of this one to our column 1 and 2. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and get started putting some objects inside of these boxes. And then if we need to make a couple little changes, we can, but we'll go ahead and leave it for this like this for right now. So with my rectangle frame tool selected, so I'm just going to click on it, we want our versus PNG in this rectangle frame. So I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Place, I'm going to find my versus PNG. There we go. So now we're going to right click in that rectangle frame and we're going to go down to Fitting. And this time we're going to do Fill Frame Proportionally. So I'm going to select this first option, Fill Frame Proportionally. And now we have our Mini Cooper versus Fiat 500 picture. Next, we're going to go ahead and start with our headline, and we are going to type our headline. So I might need to extend this a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick because we don't have any height requirements for our headline box, nor do we have a requirement for the space between the two. So I just made it a little bit larger. Now I'm going to grab my type tool. I'm going to come over to Paragraph Styles, select my headline, and click in my box, and we still see it says headline. And now we're going to type what we have exactly on our example. So we're going to do 2015 Fiat 500 versus, we're going to hit enter, 2000 Mini Cooper. We're going to hit enter again, which is, better. All right, so now we see we have one of those conflicts. So I'm going to grab my selection tool and I'm going to click and drag down a little bit until I can see all of my text. You should have something that looks exactly the same. Now remember, don't move your headline box up because we need this to be 2 picas from our picture. So we do need to add one more thing to our headline, and we need to add an M dash after the Cooper. So I'm going to grab my type tool, click after the R in Cooper. I'm going to go to my type menu, insert special characters. I'm going to go to hyphens and dashes, and I'm going to select the M dash, EM dash, the first one. I'm going to click, and now you should have one of those nice long M dashes. Do not just do a hyphen or two after, it needs to be the special character. Make sure you save your work and go ahead and continue on to the next video to continue page 2.